I have a legal note.
You want to take this one, Joy, or are you
Matt
good?
Gates has long denied all allegations and has not been charged with any crime.
That's true.
Also, another legal note, Pete Hegseth's lawyer said he paid the woman in 2023 to head off the threat of a baseless lawsuit. He has denied any wrongdoing.
That's interesting. Pay off the witness.
In what appears to be an ironic twist of fate, the husband of Sunny Hostin from The View, he has been accused of federal insurance fraud in the largest Rico case ever filed in the state of New York. Orthopedic surgeon Dr. Emmanuel Hostin is among nearly 200 defendants named in this case. He is accused of getting kickbacks by performing surgery and fraudulently billing a company that insures taxi companies, Uber, and Lyft drivers. This lawsuit alleges that Hostin and his co-defendants knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries. The insurance firm American Transit was then billed in exchange for kickbacks and/or other compensation, which were disguised as dividends or other cash distributions. Hostin's attorney told the Daily Mail, ironically or unironically, his client denies each and every allegation and called the lawsuit, unironically, blanket, scattershot, meritless lawsuit by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier. I'm just gonna leave that there.
Yes, the dumbest person on The View is in trouble. According to this article, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, husband of The View co-host Sunny Hostin, accused of receiving kickbacks for unnecessary surgery in massive Rico case. He's among 180 defendants allegedly defrauding taxi companies' insurance. Irony twist, just last month, Sunny Hostin defended him on air saying he operated on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue her insurance company to get paid. His lawyer calls it a meritless lawsuit by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier. This is extremely concerning. Sunny Hostin actually said this on air. I believe this clip will be used against the husband. When I look at the whole situation, it's just developing. I'll be following this up to the end. I don't know if you've seen this clip. Let me play it.
Let Sunny get in here.
I mean, I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do. So there are a lot of problems with it. But the notion that we are in a violent country, this country was built on violence. We're a very violent country. And it's just undeniable that that's the case. And so I'm not, unfortunately, surprised that people are celebrating the use of violence. I'm not surprised that this young man thought that change could be accomplished through violence. 1 in 4 Americans say violence against government sometimes is justified. And today, in 2024, 1 in 10 Americans say violence is justified right now against corporations and government.
That's very scary.
Those are just.
And even though I don't think he might change something, he might have laid out a plan for a copycat. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Yes, this is big. This video resurfaced. She put this out last month. I never understood what she was even talking about here. And now the husband is in trouble. To understand exactly what is going on, I'm going to read this part on this article before I show you some videos. The long-term husband of The View co-host Sunny Hostin is starting the new year under a cloud after being accused of federal insurance fraud. Surgeon Dr. Emmanuel Hostin among nearly 200 defendants named in one of the largest Rico cases ever in New York. He and many of the others are accused of getting kickbacks by performing surgery and fraudulently billing a company that insures taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including otoscopy surgery. The lawsuit filed on December 17 claims the insurance firm American Transit was then billed in exchange for kickbacks and or other compensation, which were disguised as dividend or other cash distributions. Austin attorney Daniel told DailyMail.com his client denied each and every allegation and called the lawsuit a blanket, cut short, meritless lawsuit by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier. You can see what is going on here.
I think she hates him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all
That's a
agree on
given.
that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady anymore.
They agree with you.
She doesn't want to be the first lady. She destroyed the Rose Garden. Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas. She doesn't want to decorate for Christmas. She doesn't want anything to do with him.
about that.
She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him. She can't tolerate him.
Allegedly.
And she does.
Yeah, how do you know all this?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know all this.
Allegedly. That's why I say allegedly.
I don't know what else to say.
These people spend 3 weeks spreading info that Kamala will be president. She will not certify Trump win. Now, look at what they're saying. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what they were actually even thinking. Like, why would Kamala not certify? There is nothing here. Trump won in such a way that you cannot even argue.
Always accepted the presidential election until one
False.
4 years ago.
They have not.
No,
They have not.
No, Scott,
They have not.
members of some of the Democratic Party, yes, I agree with that. But saying the party, I've never seen the Speaker or the leader of the Democrats of the House of Representatives object to a presidential election. There is a massive difference, and don't try to put these on the same thing. Look, I agree they shouldn't have done it, but to say it's
But
the
they did
same
object.
as what
But you
happened
admit
in
they
January 6th
you
is
admit they
insane.
objected.
I think that this is why we are where we are in this country. Is I think we're drawing false parallels to things that are happening in history. Look, in 2000, that was the first election. I was in Ohio, the place, the ground zero people were questioning. It was the first election I ever got to vote in. I was greatly disappointed, and I thought what happened in Florida with hanging chads was wrong. But I didn't storm the Capitol because I was an adult that accepted the results of the election and the will of the people, whether I thought that some things had gone a little awry. That's not what happened on January 6th, and I don't think it's fair to draw the parallels that it was. I also think that showing this is really important. I used to be a former school teacher, and I think that we are in a moment right now in our country where information is being disseminated in ways where we do sometimes draw false parallels. And so showing what actually happened, showing the checks and balances, and explaining why January 6th is not the same as when other times in history people have asked questions about the election is really important for this upcoming generation that may have questions about the fragility of our.
This is how the liberal media lost credibility. When Democrats do something, they don't consider it like anything. They will play around, and after a day or two, it goes away. They allow it to go. But when a Republican try it, the way they pick up their story, they will run it over and over. So to penetrate people's mind, this is it. We have cases where Democrats they refuse elections. Even this election, there are a lot of people that were not accepting anything, but they will never consider that. When there is, in fact, I don't want to even talk much on this because it is something that happens every time. The mainstream media will not call it out the way it's supposed to. Like, no, this is wrong, this is right. They don't do that. Tell me how people would trust you if you continue to play like this. We have seen cases. If I see someone, a journalist, telling me, oh, there are cases where Democrats refuse election result, I will start aligning with that person because it's the truth.
What do we do?
I think we need to find moral clarity. in this country. And I just remember after January 6th, you had someone like Mitch McConnell placing the blame on January 6th where it belonged, squarely on Donald Trump's shoulders. And then you started seeing people backtrack that and losing their moral center. You had Condoleezza Rice, I believe, on this very show saying, we need to move on from January 6th. I say no. You don't move on, because January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery, we need to never forget, because past becomes prologue if you forget any race.
I just know in my mind that Sunny Hostin is not smart. She has never been a smart lady, because if she was smart, you will not see her spill this. How can you compare January 6th to World War II or to Holocaust? Someone said, I don't know why The View is still on air, because at a certain point, when you look at what these people spew on a daily basis, it is extremely concerning. I don't get the point why they continue to do this.
In light of all the rhetoric and things we're going to hear people say today, is that ultimately it was the American people that got to decide ultimately how we feel collectively as a country about January the 6th. And already today, we have heard some people in other venues say extraordinarily unhinged and vile things, comparing January 6th to the Holocaust, to slavery, to World War II. I think we need to arrange our feelings and control ourselves accordingly here and not go off the deep end. It was not a good day. Political violence cannot be condoned, but we can also be measured in how we view it in light of the rest of American and world history. What's happening today is ultimately a good thing, because both parties, for the first time in my adult life, are accepting the results of an election. And that is ultimately putting this country on the right tracks. I just think people ought to really take stock of our feelings and not get out over our skis too much today and minimizing other world events and